Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
To our company putting on the payroll someone who hasn't just attacked us as journalists, but someone who is part of an ongoing project to get rid of our system of government. Someone who still is trying to convince Americans that this election stuff, it doesn't really work. That this last election, it wasn't a real result. That American elections are fraudulent.
Thank God yesterday was Monday. Thank you, Dr. Maddow. And I got to say, all of our beloveds across MSNBC were great, starting with Morning Joe, right through Nicole Wallace, who, made a great point about, I'm a former Republican that made a career here. So it's not about left or right or disopinions. They were just all great. Joy was great through Lawrence. I saw Stephanie Rule. But yeah, I hope what Rachel said, that she basically just put it out there. She shouldn't be at NBC News either. And I hope they change their mind. Yeah. Because it's just, of course they got huge blowback. Ronna McDaniel has specifically attacked MSNBC and their anchors in the past. So it's not just, also she was involved in a crime trying to overthrow the United States government. But it just the whole thing, it was so predictable, particularly at MSNBC. But Rachel is absolutely right. There's no way she should be on the payroll at any news organization, including NBC.
Well, and she was a bad RNC leader.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. What they're going to ask her take on the elections.
Right.
She's lost every single election.
Exactly.
As has Trump. Someone was saying, by the way, that's what they think the Trump thing is, that there's nostalgia for 2016 because that's the last time they won anything.
Yeah.
They've lost everything with him and with her. So you're going to ask her opinion on how you win elections?
Ideology aside, she was a bad hire because she was a bad RNC leader.
I always say to
Michael, but Lara will beat her on that.
That's true. That's true. Low bar. But I always say that to Michael Steele when he's on. I hated him when he was chair because he was good.
He was good at his job.
Right.
They kicked our ass in a couple of
Reince Priebus was good.
And,
Michael Steele did the autopsy. That's back when Republicans actually cared what voters think and what issues actually might work for people.
Right. And he's still a Republican, but he was a good hire because he was good at his job. Exactly. He knows how to get things done inside the Republican Party.
And raise money.
And he's really good on TV.
Yes.
And he's funny and he's pretty. Even though he's wrong about most everything. You know what it is, Chris?
You. He's right about you.
He's a scorpion, Stephanie.
Yes. And you're the frog.
I got practice on you, Chris, because I love you with the heat of 1,000 white hot suns, although you were wrong about everything. So that was my training for loving Michael Steele.
I see. Because he's wrong about everything?
Oh, it's so sad when Chris sends me one, look at this tiny little pathetic one email of support. He's like, look.
Printed it and everything.
You know what? That should be, because Chris was right. Subject lines are so very rare.
Should we frame it?
Someone sent me a whole bunch of headlines. Here's from when Chris starts to buzzkill today. Oh, this is from Kelly. Well, Kelly's obviously joined you in your wrongness, so at least you're not alone.
All right.
I know it's less common than a blue moon, but Mama Chris was right. The Putin mask was ridiculous and not needed. I have to be Team Chris on this one. Don't worry. I'm sure this will be overshadowed very soon by his imminent wrongness. Love you, but thank you, Kelly, for at least acknowledging that. Hello, moon, seventh house, whatever. Jupiter's aligned with Mars.
Moskowitz wearing that mask was dumb.
It was fantastic. And by the way, did you see Frank Luntz, the latest Biden-Harris thing? They're like, oh, so much for when they go low, we go high. Really? Do you really think you can run against Trump and these ridiculous Republicans by going high? No. Sorry, we go to the basement and talk. That's what we do.
Frank Luntz looks like he smells.
You mentioned that yesterday, and that, I have to say, is one thing that you seem right about. Too bad there's not scratch and sniff for Zoom, because we'd invite him on just for that. Yeah. I'd be like, ooh, Chris, you were right. What is that, old socks?
He looks like he smells of old socks.
Yeah, yes, that's what I mean. It's something very specific.
Yeah.
Moldy socks. Something. Like he never washes his gym socks.
I know what he used to
I feel like he's an elliptical guy, and he just has been wearing the same socks on the elliptical for,
You sure it's not just for another reason?
Stephanie, it doesn't look like he's exercised a day in his life.
Right. Something else musty. Yeah. Okay.
Socks are used for a bunch of things with men.
Driftglass tweets, up next week on Meet the Press, Kristen Walker interviews COVID-19 to find out what's next for this famous influencer. That's funny.
That's funny.
That's a funny meme about all the people we're interviewing now, just to, See
It's
what
funny.
they're thinking about. What you doing?
What
But
makes
anyway.
you tick?
What yucks your yum? All right. Some more, but I have to say, Rachel's so brilliant. I mean, obviously, everybody I thought was great and put their own stamp on this, but people are waiting for Rachel because she's just, she's Rachel, and I feel like she just put it in such a larger context. Oh, Charlie Pierce says I think the drinking game should be whenever she mentions Father Coughlin, drink, but
It's funny.
puts it in historical perspective that is really important. Let's hear some more. Let's go to school.
We have a long history in this country of forgettable men telling us that we need a new system of government where everything's under their control and politics is over and this new strongman way of government is gonna make America great again. We have had a lot of these guys, but our generation's version of this guy has gotten a lot farther than all the rest of them. And why is that? He would have been as forgotten as all the rest of them had he not been able to attach himself to an institution like the Republican Party.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. That's what I keep saying, that it's probably her dad told her I said that. Hi, Bob. It's not just him. It's the whole party. That's exactly what the founders didn't envision. One more.
It's my understanding that MSNBC's leadership did not object to Ronna McDaniel being hired by NBC News when the matter first arose. But when the hiring was announced, and MSNBC staff essentially unanimously and instantly expressed outrage, our leadership at MSNBC heard us, understood, and adjusted course. We were told this weekend in clear terms, Ronna McDaniel will not be on our air. Ronna McDaniel will not be on MSNBC.
Amen.
I'm going to guess it was Lawrence O'Donnell that put it over the top.
Probably.
I think the volume of the Boston accent, if you've
Yeah.
ever made Lawrence mad, it's terrifying.
Don't make him mad.
No. Don't make Daddy mad.
Don't make
make
Daddy,
Daddy mad.
Boston Daddy mad.
Do not do that.
Okay.
The fact that Ms. McDaniel is on the payroll at NBC News, to me, that is inexplicable. I mean, you wouldn't hire a wise guy. You wouldn't hire a made man like a mobster to work at a DA's office, right? you wouldn't hire a pickpocket to work as a TSA screener. And so I find the decision to put her on the payroll inexplicable. And I hope they will reverse their decision.
Here. Good for her. Joe Scarborough started it, this fray yesterday morning, saying we weren't asked our opinion of the hiring, but if we were, we would have strongly objected for several reasons. We hope NBC will reconsider its decision. It goes without saying she will not be a guest on Morning Joe in any capacity as a paid contributor. And this is, I hate to say, did you ever think I'd be quoting Chuck Todd?
I know
Cha-ta.
it's weird. Cha-ta.
Cha-ta.
Cha-ta. Cha-ta.
We may have to play the dance mix again. I
All
don't know
right.
what's happened.
It's screwed up.
It's
There
weird.
you go.
But just his point about access journalism that, most people don't say out loud. Like, yeah, we have to be able to get people on, and we can't ask, hard questions or follow-up questions. But it's reported that McDaniel likely secured the gig after she helped the network land a Republican presidential debate. And it's just like, oh, okay, so let's just trade free and fair elections for, access. And I'm like, a Republican, aren't there? They didn't even have any Republican debates.
I think part of the reason...
Oh, so without, what do you call it, Mango Mussolini?
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think part of the reason that there was pushback from Welker and Chuck Todd
Yeah.
was because access doesn't matter for her anymore, so they could push back.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have pushed back on her.
I see. Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, Jody's the smartest.
Wow,
girl
Jody,
in
you thought
class.
this through.
Hey, everybody let's dance. Thank you. Chuck Todd. Because I think he was like 8 mimosas in at that point.
Oh, he had to have been. 2 or 3 bottles
right.
of champagne and very little orange juice.
All right. So Tristan Snell.
Greenland is a strategic place up there, and they got a lot of valuable minerals. I don't want to predict an outcome. I'm just saying the president, who knows a thing or two
All right.
about
We
buying real estate.
That's where, yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Eventually gets-
Tristan Snell could not join us yesterday because he was on NBC
Right,
being
but I
mad, being mad about
Very mad.
Why does Trump get different? Okay, but yesterday was a big loss. We've got a trial starting, a big loss for Trump, and the trial is starting April 15th.
Yep.